So listen, to cut to the chase, I have done all of your work for you. The money is not for that. Me doing all of your work for you was a lot more like an accident, to the point that it essentially resembles religion to the point that it is religion. I don't know what religion you have. I don't care. I know what it is. That's one thing. Thing two, the reason that you owe me money is because of the things that you have done wrong. You are not able to fix what you have done wrong, whether by volition or creed or whatever else and whatever the fuck. Truth being, every problem is different, every solution is the same. I am the solution. And no matter what even your religion is, that's not going to change. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter what you think of me personally. It doesn't matter if you present to yourself as me as a solution, similar to me, or as a problem, opposite from me. It doesn't make a difference. By the time that you hucked all that stuff up there, it's in my field. Some people did it on accident. They're sorry about it. Some people did it on purpose. They're not sorry about it. Some people did it on purpose, and now they're sorry about it. Some people did it on accident, and they're not sorry about it. That's kind of what we're dealing with. We could go more specifically, this person, but the point is that it's still up in my property. This is my property. And unfortunately, no matter how we're twisting and turning this the whole way down the spiel, what can't be avoided is that I am in fact responsible for my property. Thing of it is, so long that I exist, same as you, I maintain property. There is a stringent, beholden existence associate that so long we are alive, so to speak, there is an onus. And that's the part where God comes in. There is a responsibility. So long that you are moving, there's a kinetic potential that cannot be erased. I'm not a fatalist. I don't believe in default. My ideal is that area referenced, even though it might come to here or whatever the relationship is, that it's the creation aspect that grants us the transcendence over these proprietaries, these clientele, these potentialities, these forceful widths. And in culmination, in a sense, what we don't ever get to, no matter how we multiply, even if we adhere to the context absolutely correctly, and then address in a subset what is within the context as a content, even to the point that we are responsible to that what is our total goes beyond our recognition of the meaning of these two things, I'm still chasing my fucking shadow. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the kinetic energy of spins. I'm talking about people who put their foot down and were fucking wrong. I'm talking about throats that were slit. I'm talking about prayers that were muttered. I'm talking about silent tears. I'm talking about unknown fears. That stuff sits there like a rot. That is greater than what it is your facilitation of your own meaning, no matter how you address it and or going about addressing it even if these things are in some soliloquy or twist different or the same. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If the building's built, if you take it down, that's a separate action. That building once was. And so whenever we get to this idea of this vastness of potential, to the point that everything exists on a single plane, which is in fact the law of the United States. It's the law of the universe, but the United States discovered it. The United States, the Constitution, is the one that specifically, to the point of reason, addresses it to the point that it can protect it. And then separately, as you go about your actions in ways, whether you find yourself associate to it is a separate question. So, this mess of junk that you have in your attic is really dangerous. I can't go around to every individual. If they're dead, it's a little different. But if you have someone on your tail, in your shadow, that might have something to do with what we're talking about. That's why you would find somebody who is like a me in hopes of that, because whenever you make a deal with people like that, you are under their terms until they let you go. That is very, very different from, I wish to manifest something. I see it, I see it, I see it. I feel as if I gained it. I feel like I experienced it. I didn't go to the Taj Mahal, but I don't feel so distant. I learned it. I'm with it. There's a different calendar, a separate cylindrical, that I do not need to teach you about in order for it to be there. Lots of things are like that, like Jupiter. You don't have to recognize that Jupiter is there for it to be there. It does not require your permission. What's different about me is that I made a deal not only with the format of that, but everything down there. I control that. That's me. What happens with that, related me, etc., that's not your business. I'm not required to teach that to you. Separately, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say I don't believe I could go through to every single person and not be able to teach. But I'm not going to do that. There's an ad, like, if you had every person, just in China, if everybody in China, 1 billion people, walked in a single file line, you were born and the first person walks through, you would be dead before you were done with all the people in China. And we're not talking about, hey, hello, I'm on TV, Miss America. This is I need to taste your skin. I need to feel up under your teeth. I need to piss you off. I need to watch you take a shit. These things are available. However, in the United States, how it is that you address this area that I control is of your own determination. I do not require this. This deals with somebody's death. It's a very sacred thing. Whenever you screw with somebody's death, you screw with somebody's life. And so the whole treason aspect and that sort of mechanism coming through, that's why it's like that. You can't put a knife here and have me walk into it and I'm not stabbed. That's not a joke. And then separately, the sins from there of people thinking that's funny, or people making money off of what they think is funny, dead baby jokes. That's a different animal. And it starts cataloging and spiraling, and people chase that momentum that they themselves have created. That momentum does not amount. That momentum does not exist. That momentum does not coexist. That momentum does not coalesce into that. You need to have that separate action. Whenever we talk about things so far as payment, it's like, Mr. A plus, Chuck fuck walking around and then suddenly smacks his head on, a fucking stairwell or something like that. I'm the tallest man in the world and I just banged my head off of that. Oh. Doesn't really change anything. It's still hurt, still the tallest dude in the world, and that thing's still there. But in a sense, that momentum has ceased. There's different aspects of collapsing, which is what the problem is with war, is because you do not get a fucking chance to collapse it once it happens. When we talk about things in criminal aspects and things like that, you're lucky we have money. The criminals benefit from the existence of money more than anyone else. That does not mean that we do need to surrender what it is, that faculty, the creation of it, what it does, what it can do. The greatest potential for good has the greatest potential for evil. We start to get into fears. We start manifesting things. If we don't understand them, if we don't have them, if we don't understand them, if we don't know them, then they can become in our own mind something else. There's entire schools of thought about, I'm simply going to sit here and fear that backward momentum. Unfortunately, that is about the most extreme that you can get. However, it is not the most efficient. Nor is it absolutely secure. You would think that, but it isn't. Life happens, shit goes on. This is chaos, right? How are you going to guess over that? Are you going to put yourself through that? Not in that state. And God forbid if you do. And you don't, and it would never work. So that whole contraption of what it is that... See, because now we're going to throw our potential up there, right? I'm going to arrive to it like this. That whole catalog of shit, Mormonism, is garbage. It's completely unutilizable. It is not a direct reflection of anything. It does not, in dead center of that is the fucking Antichrist pooling shit in. That's why we have a problem. Nothing's going to be, I can't do shit with that. There's no wall I can push it into, etc. It needs to go. It's not there. And if you chase that shit, you are now the wall with a knife sticking in it that people run into that think is a fucking dildo or whatever the fuck else. That's what happens. That's why it's wrong. That's why it doesn't work. That's probably easier. I don't have to try anything, but is it? And you start to get into that. That was not there first. That's a reaction. Whenever we talk about things like that, shit that's already happened is not a reaction. That shit went down. That shit was there, and it is no longer there. And there's a big hole in time-space with a giant fucking question mark to it. If our reason does not get to the point that it can encapsulate to the point that we can transcend it, then there's an issue. We can't do that. That guy got killed in cold blood. That child was raped. That person was bullied. And someone from 1492 wasn't considerate of my feelings in a movie theater in 2008. How can America be here, right, if I'm scared in a movie theater? It gets weird. Whenever that happens, that shit comes back to life, so to speak. It is there, it isn't there, it is there, it isn't there, it is there, it isn't there, etc. In order for us to have, separate from all of this stuff, I went through everything and pulled out exactly what it is that you need to function correctly, innately. If you know nothing else, this is what the Constitution is representative of. And lo and behold, the people who built it correctly were correct. That's the mystical aspect. of how well our shit matches up. I don't have measurements or anything. It's just timing and shit. My shit's better than anything that you've ever built. Why is that is separate from that is. Why is that is like we're sitting around smoking cigars and I give you something. And now you have a greater understanding of what has gone on. We're not in a DS relationship. I told you what the answer is, and you're holding to this. You are in a DS relationship with that. That's all it takes for you to refuse me in technical and legal aspects. I'm not pursuing you. You're not worth it. They used to do that, but it's because they wanted to get to me. They didn't know where I was going to come in. Thing of it is, for whatever was needed, I'm now done. They don't need you. Beyond that, the contraptions and institutions upon which we recognize, CIA, social work, we don't need to do those anymore. It's a quick hit and push a button and there's a missile. It's that house that has that thing in it, and here comes the SWAT team. I don't need to ask Kant what it might mean in the next 1492 or however many years ago that was to hear for that, what color is it, my name today is, and then I tripped. What does that mean? I don't know. But I'm going to start a war about it. I can't cover you. And that's bad news today.